Hey, I'm Digi. Say, do you like weird video games? Well, I found 8 weird FPS games that you can play for free or name your own price. Let's check them out.
Hey yo, timer, what place is this?
First up is The Town with No Name. That's right, you heard me. Remember that Amiga game that Joel played that one time? Or if you're super crusty old, that game that Retsupre reacted to in like 2010? Someone decided to make an FPS out of it, and it's just as amazing as you'd expect. For some bizarre reason, the game itself is like 100 times as loud as the cutscenes. Anyway, you can totally just go through all the little areas in the original game. Unfortunately, we can't pick the card we want during the card game, but okay. The thing that really sucks is that there's no checkpoints. If you don't beat the game, you go all the way back. And why does my running have inertia? Look, I start out slow, and then go faster. Anyway, I did manage to beat the game in spite of it all. Definitely worth it for a laugh, or if you want to torture your favorite streamer, but it's not exactly what I'd call good. Next up is TEMPLAR. This game really wants to keep yelling its name at you over and over. Thankfully, there's an option to turn down the menu music, but wow. I actually really like this game. It seems to have been made in a certain plug-and-play engine for making FPS games, but visually it's interesting. In fact, it reminds me a little bit of Elder Scrolls Arena. Unfortunately, you need to remember to save in this game because it doesn't autosave. Learned that the hard way. Really enjoying the graphics in this one. Our guns have crosses on them. We also have a small variety of enemies, such as zombies, these fireball-throwing guys, and knights. It's not a long game at 5 levels, but it was a fun experience. Just don't get caught with your back to a wall here, because it's almost certainly going to spell your doom. Nekron. This one's going to go fairly quick, because there's honestly not that much to it. It's a game where your goal is to make it to the green portal as fast as you possibly can. The issue is that you have these guys coming after you, and the floor is covered in landmines. I don't think it's exactly procedurally generated, more like it's selecting from a few variations that are hard-coded in. Unfortunately, they just don't give you enough time to do what they want you to do. If you take the wrong turn at first, you're just done for. The challenge is supposed to be to beat as many levels as you can before you lose, but I can barely beat any. Can't really recommend this one. Next up is Manic Mania. This is one of those endless games where it gets progressively harder. You're in this weird arena full of cheese, and enemies continually spawn in for you to fight. You'll have to dash away from them to stay safe. Every time you beat a stage, you get an upgrade and sometimes a downgrade. Upgrades include changes to rate of fire, enemy size, and hit points, and bleed damage, among other things. As you keep going, you'll see different enemies show up, like these cats that generate healing shields, and these fairies with ranged attacks. This one's not bad for a while, but eventually I ran out of energy for it. My fault for preferring games that have stories. And next we have Trial of the Sorcerer. This one was pretty interesting. It's definitely got the early 90s DOS game aesthetic going on, which is what drew me in. The opening crawl says that the Sorcerer folk used to bump around like they owned the whole place until they woke up this weird face thing, and it threw the world into chaos. So as you might expect, it's up to us to put everything back the way it was. So we walk around this maze full of sharp 90-degree edges, fighting all manner of bats, skeletons, little duendes, dudes in hoods. If we can find the right keys, we get to leave this door clearly marked exit. How convenient. Every couple of levels, we get a new gem for our staff which changes up our attack. Gives us more damage output. These hooded guys are actually really tough. You can strafe, but fighting multiple guys that can shoot back is pretty hard. Almost like the game isn't super set up for it. This red hooded guy can actually resurrect the other ones. It makes a tough boss fight. Still though, I enjoyed the game for the aesthetic, and I recommend checking it out if you want a simple fantasy-themed FPS game. Next up is called Something in the Water. It's a horror game, but it's got some issues. We start off with a letter from a friend letting us know that everyone in the hospital has gone crazy, and to follow them down into the sewers where they're trying to escape. Right away, this game throws a curveball at you since you don't start out with a weapon. I thought maybe I was doing something wrong, or that maybe there was an issue with the game itself, but it turns out you're supposed to run clear across the stage with no weapon before you can find one. And once you do... Wow, that's one atom-splitting box cutter. Or maybe we're just that jacked? So, yeah, you might notice some similarities here between this and Templar. Actually, I'm also noticing some similarities between this and that Hellhunt game we played last time. I'm not sure what this engine is, but it seems like it's pretty modular since it was used for all three. Visually, the game looks fine, but it suffers from some issues the other games with this engine don't have. The biggest problem is that most of the enemy types don't have a cry or a scream when they aggro you. This prevents you from knowing that you're about to be set upon, and it resulted in more than a few deaths. It's so strange, too, because these guys with the guns breathe heavily when you aggro them. So, what's the deal here? Like Templar, getting backed up against the wall is more or less death here because it's so awkward to just change direction. This is another 5-stage game, but it also ends very abruptly at the end. It's like they just kind of ran out of time and energy for it. Overall, not recommended unless you have nothing better to do. Next game is called Hand Me Down. This is a Japanese game. I can't read any of this. This game is very red. You play one of a crew of droids, I assume, who are tasked with recovering weapons from fallen comrades and fighting invading robots. You get plunked down in the middle of a city block and you're directed to grab the weapon on the ground. These enemy robots remind me of the tripods. You can climb and jump, often flinging yourself across the stage. They go down fairly easy, but you have to make sure to use the buildings as cover because you're very likely to get hit otherwise. In later stages, our crew back at the ranch starts growing and the enemy robots get stronger. You also have multiple waves per stage. The game's honestly pretty challenging. The toughest thing about it is how long it takes to reload and how often you have to do it. Try getting fairly close if possible to use your ammo efficiently, but try not to get surrounded. Okay, last game. I saved the most interesting for last. This is Mohrta. The intro scene informs us that we're an alien bioweapon of some kind. Also, we are a cowboy. Our mission is to retrieve another one of our kind, dead or alive. The tutorial stage shows us how to use our revolver as well as a sword. Hey, cowboys don't use those. As well as a lamp bird. Interesting. We ride our horse to the Old Town Road where we find out these bad dudes wiped out a town. We go through, fighting our way through the wilderness. Check this out. You have this special attack that burns mana to use. This town ain't big enough for the two of us. Pow, 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 pow! Man, that's fun. This weird little doll thing is our healing device. I was particularly impressed with this part where you're creeping around in the mines near the town. You actually have to not only use your lamp bird, but also listen for enemies since the light doesn't actually go all that far. It's just not something you always see in games that are free or name your own price. The game has boss fights too. Despite being so big, this guy is a little too fast for us, so we have to use the shift key to quickly dodge out of the way. After all that, we find ourselves in a hub world. Check it out, a lot of thought was put into this. Unfortunately, it seems the game isn't totally complete. There's some weirdness going on with these menus. They're layered on top of each other. And there's some placeholder items. Despite this, however, we can continue the story at least to one more stage. It's a nice green wooded area with a veranda. Can we talk about how imaginative some of these enemies are? This is about where I stopped, but I'm excited to see where this one goes. Well, there you have it. 8 more FPS games that you can play for free or name your own price. If you decide to check them out, tell them Digi sent ya. Hey, if you like this video at all, please consider subscribing, or even better, watch me discover weird and interesting games live on Twitch. I stream a few days a week on Eastern North America time. And if you know a game I might enjoy checking out, please let me know in the comments below. Alright, see you next time.